Hello everybody watching this video. Today you are hopefully going to learn how to connect this Danish entry signal to this um, steering plate. Let's just call it that, the steering plate. Why not? Yeah, my English is not that good, so um, bear over with me, please. So, if you do not know on these signals, if the signal is red, it shows red and yellow. If it is green and you can pass with the regular speed, it is one green. If you can pass with limited speed, which is set in a sign below the signal, it will show green and yellow. And if the next signal after the enter signal is green, it will show two green lights. So I have made this simple construction of a two-tracked station on our in our signal box, and we have the entry signal here, which we're going to learn to wire, and we have the exit signal, which is for the next video. And these two will be wired together. So, but for now, we will just use whatever is going to be wired to this as a button. So what we're going to start with is getting it to go from red to green and then back again. And we'll do this with our red button here. And we will need a NOR gate. And what this NOR gate does is it does the opposite of the input. So say this button is wired to the NOR gate and this button is off, the NOR gate will be on, which should make the signal red when the button is not pressed. So we will start by wiring the button here to the NOR gate. I have already done some testing on this, so I have already done a little bit of wiring before. So this button here is going to be connected to the green light, so that when you press it, the green light will light up. So this NOR gate will then be connected to the red and the yellow. As I said before, where both the red and yellow will show on the signal when it's red. So now we should be able to press on this button and we'll go from red to green. Very good. So hopefully you understand that you will need custom train lights to do this. You can also use indicator LEDs for it, but I use custom train lights because you can do a lot of things with it in here when you press F on it. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to wire the next button here, the yellow one, which will be to the yellow one here, the yellow right. And what this does, if you have to drive with limited speed past the signal and the sign down here, which will say the speed, that you have to go that speed past the signal, usually when you have to switch tracks, you can have that as an option. You can also wire it so that when you switch the track, it will do it automatically. I will get into that in another video, but for now we will do it as a button. So we will need an AND gate, this one, because we need both the signal to be green and this button pressed for it to light up with yellow, so that you can't light it up with yellow as the signal is on red. I mean, we'll use many of these AND gates, so it's very important that you understand what it does. So we'll start by wiring both the buttons to the AND gate here, and we'll wire the AND gate to a light controller, because you can only wire one wiring at a time to a custom train light, but you can go around it by using a light controller. So we will wire it to the light controller, and then from the light controller to the yellow light. So now we should be able to get it from red to green and to green and yellow. Now, we also need it to be double green if the exit signal is green. We'll do that by making another AND gate right here. And we will wire the button here, which will make it green to it. And then you would have wired this button as well. So I'm just going to quickly do that. So yeah, if the exit signal is green and the entry signal is green, both the green lights will light up. So this AND gate will go to the second green one. Then if that is green, and now this of course doesn't work, but if this were to be green, then it would be double green. So now you've made it so that you can see what it actually shows inside of your signal box. Now all of the logics that you have wired to this will now be needed to wire to the signal itself. It's really simple. This is the same as the signal, so we'll just wire that. Which means, again, the button here to the green and the NOR gate to the red and yellow, and the light controller to the yellow again, and this AND gate to the next green. So now we can see the signal shows red, and if we press the button here, it will show one green. If we press the yellow button, it will show green and yellow. And if we turn that yellow off and we turn this on, it'll go to double green. Now I'll come into some systems about where you can't do stuff like this, which is very common, so that you can have double green and yellow, which you shouldn't be able to have. You would either just have green and yellow or double green. Most likely green and yellow only. That would require another AND gate. So let me quickly jump into that. If you want to do that, where it will only be green and yellow, even if the exit signal is green, you will need another AND gate. Alright, so what we'll need is another NOR gate here. So as we can see, if we have the signal on green and yellow, this AND gate will light up. So we'll write that to the NOR gate, which means that if it's off, the NOR gate will be green. And we will have that wired to this other AND gate. Then instead of the second green being wired directly to this AND gate, it will be wired to this next AND gate. And then up to the second green. Which means that, as you can see, if it's green and yellow, we cannot turn it on double green because this is off, so you can't turn on the AND gate. It is only one of the inputs that is on. But if we turn the yellow off, it automatically goes to double green because the next signal is green. That was about everything about making this system. I hope you understood it with my limited English, and thank you very much for watching.